Welcome to Two Hypnotherapists Talking. We are two established hypnotherapists based on either side of the pond. I'm Martin in Preston, UK.
And I'm Denise in Delaware, USA. Whether you're curious, an avid fan, or a fellow practitioner, I'm sure you'll find something of interest in our weekly conversations with each other and our various guests.
While we both practice hypnosis, we are interested in other aspects of self-help and personal development. So please sing out if you have something to say or want clarification. Our contact details are in the show notes.
So, Martin, let's get on with this week's episode.
Okay, welcome again to Two Hypnotherapists Talking. And our fourth guest of the season, I'm pleased to welcome back Brenda Rhodes. Brenda, good afternoon.
Hi,
Hello.
Brenda.
Hi. Wonderful to be here.
So before we got on recording, you were telling us about the work you've been doing with the left-handed community. That sounds...
Actually, what I was doing was working with, in therapy, using the left hand and working with the younger part of the self so that it can express what it needs to express and release whatever trauma was there, or just get in touch with that younger part and be able to bring out some playfulness as well.
Yeah. Are you working with people because they've come to you knowing that they've had trauma, or is this something that's sort of implied from the work you're doing with them? Do they know when these traumatic events happened to them?
Some do, and some aren't even aware of it until we connect with that younger self, and then all of a sudden it comes out. So it's a nice way for them to release that energy, because as I was saying to Martin, I can help them to, compound that. You're doing great. You're releasing all that energy. You're letting go of that trauma. It's no longer needed to be held in your body or your mind. So it just gives an extra tool with the hip.
How many clients do you use it with?
It's
Is
just
it a subset? It's a subset of clients, or it's just if you can't get to the other ways that you're using don't work for them, you just give that a try?
It really is a random thing. It's really what walks in the office. I kind of work off of where that client is. If I know that they're very creative, it's a nice piece that it can, be an addition to helping them. So I don't work with every client in that way, but I do use it a lot with children, because I have a Buddha board, and the children will take a paintbrush and dip it in water. And then when they start painting, what happens is after maybe 30 seconds or so, the first part of their painting starts to go away. So, it allows them to look at and say, hey, yeah, that can be left go. It can go away from me now. I don't need to be attached to pulling my hair or whatever I'm working on.
Yeah, I mean, that can be a fantastic metaphor for so many things, can't it? The disappearing picture.
Yes. And adults too. I mean, it works with adults as well. Sometimes you just need that visual, like, oh, yeah, it's that easy. It's just that magical.
So your practice is pretty full now? You're getting a full complement of clients?
Yes, it's wonderful. It's very steady. Yes, thank you.
I haven't reached steady yet. I've got spiky.
Brenda, when we were off air, you were telling me you're going to Ireland next year. That's with hypnosis work as well, isn't it?
Yes, I'm going to be presenting at the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference in April, and working with energy, hypnosis, and creativity. So I'm going to be creating a script that I'm going to do, a session I'm going to do with the people that are in my room, something connected with a leprechaun. So it's going to be very creative and very fun.
Okay. Where in Ireland are you going to be?
Dublin.
Do you have other plans to travel?
Yes, I have a presentation in Orlando in May as well. I'm going to be talking to people about how to work with narcissists. And then in August, I'm going to be doing a Zoom presentation for the hypnosis people in New Zealand. So the association.
Was it time constraints, or merely the cost of a flight that stopped you from going over and joining them?
Neither. They just wanted me to step in because they have a program that they get together every third Thursday. And so they have guest speakers come in on Zoom.
Oh, so okay. So it's not a big conference, it's just a weekly course.
Yeah, they're about 50 strong and growing, but New Zealand is very
It's a small community.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. How did you get to know them?
They contacted me. I
Very
guess.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they found me, but they did. So I'm excited.
Great.
Okay, Brenda, is this connected with the work you've done on helping people who've been affected by narcissistic behaviour?
The one in Orlando, absolutely. Quick background, I was married to a narcissist for 30 years, and I understand the ins and outs of that and what it takes to heal from that. And it seemed like as I was releasing all that garbage, I kept having more and more clients coming in that needed help with that. So it would be like they would sit down and start saying something, and then I would, after they were finished, I would just start saying different things and like, oh my God, how did you know? Nobody believes me. And so through my healing work, excuse me, on my own, I was able to come up with a program of from Survive to Thrive. And I think a lot of hypnotists don't realize, if they haven't experienced it, what they're actually working with, because a lot of people come in and say, I want to let go of weight, I want to stop smoking, or I have such anxiety, but I don't know why.
Yeah, it's the why.
Yeah. So it's when you start to understand that certain key things that's related to narcissistic abuse, it really helps the hypnotist to be able to, better help that client.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you may not reveal all to your clients, but your lived experience will help you be able to, as you say, let your client know that you understand them and for everything you say to resonate with them.
Absolutely. You can pull a little bit of that forward and say, hey, I get you. And it's like a complete relief, because when you are being abused by a narcissist, the narcissists are presenting themselves as a very strong, wonderful, helpful, loving individual on the outside world. But then in the household, it's very different. It's very abusive. It's a lot of yelling. It could be many different kinds of abuse that comes with it, including financial. And that's huge. When somebody believes that they're stuck financially, that they can't make it because this person has hypnotized them to believe that, gives me the opportunity to say, no, you can get out of this. You are courageous. You are smart. You have everything. You have such strength because you're incurring that. I mean, the strength you need to move out of that is nothing compared to what you are
need
going
to
through right
stay
now.
alive in it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, Brenda, you'll be delighted to hear that in this country they changed the law a few years ago, and coercive control now is a crime. Financial control is a crime. Of course, two things which happen with people exhibiting narcissistic behavior.
Yeah, I've heard that, and that's wonderful. I just wish it would be in the United States.
How do you market yourself these days? Do you
Well,
put, a sticker in somebody's newsagent window, or?
No, a lot of my clients come through word of mouth, or, they're Googling hypnosis near me, which I have a lot of things out on Google, and I have many wonderful reviews. So they'll look at that. They may be looking at specific keywords. And I also go out and I do a lot of presentations at holistic groups or spiritual communities. And I'll just give a talk, or I'll do like a group session and allow them to know that I'm available. And that's how I get the client.
Good. And you feel you're at full strength now?
I think you could always, because
you could squeeze another one in, but you're comfortable.
I'm comfortable right now. Yes.
Yes. The call before this was with our finance person. So I'm not quite there yet.
So, Brenda, over the last year, because we recorded with you about 18 months ago, and you were talking then about your experience in your marriage and how you've been helping people since then, and moving forward, etc. Have the people you've helped now from that long ago? Do they come back to you to say life's great now? And obviously, because you set people on the way, you help them move forward. What kind of great things do you hear back from your clients after this length of time?
A lot of the clients have actually come to step into their power and leave the abuse. I'm there to support them in whatever they want. So if they want to stay with that person, I can help them to, be able to navigate the abuse and the narcissist. Although that doesn't sound like a wonderful thing to some people, it's where that person is, and we have to go and work with where that person is. But a lot of the people that I have worked with have actually, made that step, and they've divorced and they're living their life and they're free, So
I just ask, if the person who says to you, no, I'm not ready to leave yet, are they able to impact at all this person's pathology?
they're able to start working with their self-worth, and that they are valuable, and that, not everything that is said is true. And it's really about, I work with the higher self. I'll just, or if you want to call it the brain, what is right and good for you? How do you want to work with this? How can I help support you? How can your higher self help support you? So they're able to integrate that into their world. And, maybe eventually they'll walk away, but some people truly just don't get to that point because they believe that's where they're supposed to be. So it's, you do what you can, but that once they leave, it's really up to them of what they want to do.
And probably made more complicated by having children.
Oh, it's extremely more complicated having children. That was one of my issues. I had 3 children. But my children have learned that from watching and growing and watching me move out of that. And it wasn't, it's not like I'm just doing this and you walk away. There's a lot of things that are involved in this, because some of this is about making sure you're safe, making sure you have the finances, just by making sure
who to find.
You have your own credit card, that's huge, so that you have credit. So there's these little nuanced pieces that I can help people to understand how to get into that process, or get them out, that they get around other people, because usually their community gets very narrow till it's almost just stuck to the house and that person. And, this isn't just male or female. This is mom, dad, sister, brother. This could be aunt, uncle. It could be a friend. It's, it just was, my part was, it was the...
Brenda, can I flip this on its head? Have you ever had somebody come to you who has issues of being too controlling and ask for your help to stop them being that way, male or female?
Actually, yes, but they didn't have the classic narcissistic signs. So they're willing to do that work. They're willing to let go. They're willing to go to those places that they've created those patterns. And ultimately, a lot of times it was something that happened in childhood, whether it was another child saying something to them, or, maybe they had a really difficult childhood with their parents, or perhaps a parent died at, when they were 3 years old. So you do feel like you have no control. So we can, as hypnotists, work and help them find the tools that they need by, asking their higher selves, or asking them what would work best for them. And when they're in hypnosis and they're talking with that part of them that has those answers that hold within, that's really key. It's so key, because if you go and tell somebody, well, this is how you do it, if they're not connected to that, it doesn't work. They have to come from the inside, something that's very tangible within.
No, it just intrigued me, because obviously I'm not talking about the full narcissistic, as you say, set of characteristics, as it were. But sometimes, and some people I've helped people with hypnotherapy, is one part of a couple where that couple, perhaps under different circumstances, might go for marriage guidance as it used to be called over here. Don't know what they call it these days. But you've got a situation in some kind of marriage or relationship when one person clearly has behaviour that is really unacceptable, and they come for help with that. Perhaps they are in the habit of doing something that really upsets their partner, and they've realised, I need to change.
Yeah, and they're really halfway there just by recognising the
Yeah.
fact that they need to be the one that changes.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Maybe they've decided as a couple that they don't need couples therapy. Just this one person needs to try and do something about something that's an issue. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily even couples. It could be they're having a control issue at work or, with a friend. I mean, they're all different relationships, obviously. But yes, actually, I have, as we're talking, I can think of the multiple people that I have worked with to help them, let go of that control.
Yeah. Yeah, because control leads to so many issues. A lot of people who experience anorexia nervosa, it's about control. I mean, most eating disorders are about control, but anorexia specifically, it tends to be people who are, for want of a better description, control freaks. That's
pulling
my
your hair.
experience with it.
Yeah, I have a 13-year-old right now that's pulling her hair and totally controlling the family. So
I've got to say the word now, haven't I? Trichotillomania.
Yeah,
I can't spell it, but I can say it.
I can see how it's spelled, but I probably will it. But yeah.
Yeah, we were doing some studies on older people in the UK with trichotillomania, using it as subconsciously as a form of self-harm to generate acute pain, so they don't feel the chronic pain of a bad back or achy knees. Because of course we don't.
That's what I say. Got a headache, stamp on your toe. Yeah.
Yeah. But because you see an old person and they have a scab and it grows, and they've no idea how that's happened.
Obviously, something's been helping it along. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you think? Since we haven't seen you for 18 months, what do you think the next 18 months will bring?
I have to say, I have no idea, because what has come to me in the last 18 months is just marvelous. And I would have never imagined. I have completed 2 books, and one's an ebook that's downloadable. The other one is you can get from me, and that's on relationships. So I partner.
You got a copy? Hold it up.
I do.
Yeah. Show it us. Don't be shy. Great relationships. Okay. What does it say? Hold it further.
It's love me, love you, love us, and it's co-authored with Shelley Stockwell Nicholas.
Okay.
So,
and is she a therapist, or?
She is a very well-known hypnotherapist in the States. Yes.
Okay.
And she is the president of the IHF. So I have all my certifications through her. And so I've been teaching hypnosis and certifying people. As I said, I wrote this book with her, and I've also wrote an ebook, The Worry Detox. It's different things that people can do to let go of the worry instead of spending that energy on something that's not going to be.
Are you using that one more as a lead magnet in your advertising, or is it something that people need to purchase?
Which one?
The one that, yeah.
The Worry Detox, I have it to purchase, but it's very reasonable. It's like $7.95.
Okay.
I want it to be accessible to whoever, can use it, because ultimately worry, stress, anxiety, it's basically the same energy. It's just, what can we do to change that when we're in it, and to remember that we do have the power to shift that, because ultimately we're the ones that are creating that stress or that worry or the anxiety.
And so often with it, to have nowhere to go, it just sits with you and makes you feel worse and worse.
Right.
We will put details in the show notes of how people can obtain your book.
Awesome.
Brenda, and your contact details obviously as well, but just hold the book up again. The cover caught my eye. It's really great relationships. I love the is it smoke or cloud the heart? It's fantastic.
They're actually leaves,
right? Okay,
red leaves, like the seasons are changing to fall.
Right. Okay, fantastic. So this is sort of information, suggestions on how to build a solid relationship or how to maintain one, or?
All of the above. Actually, it says love you first, because it's really about getting to know yourself, to really take care of yourself, to not put yourself to the side because somebody calls you in. And this is not only for the layperson, but it's also for us hypnotists, because a lot of times it's very easy to not, put ourselves first and say, no, that's not acceptable. I can't do that right now. I have to take care of me.
Or I'm only free to see you on Saturday. Sorry, my weekends are mine.
Yes. So it's really about, giving to you and loving you so that you can kind of put yourself to the side, because you are giving all you need to yourself. And then when you have somebody in front of you, whether it's a client or a child or a partner or a friend, then you can be there for them. And that would be the love you. And then you can be together. So you have yourself and you have the you, and you're bringing that together. And that's where the love us is. And there's a lot of different techniques and tools that are in this, some hypnosis, some guided meditation. There's a lot of play and lightheartedness. This book is done in a very positive way. We did our best to stay away from any negativity. So it's
you co-wrote that with Shelley, or that's
yes. The Great Relationships is co-authored with Shelley Stockwell, and the ebook, The Worry Detox, is mine. This book is a manual. It can be read from, cover to cover, or if you're in a certain situation, you can just flip it open to that particular part and use those tools. It's very user-friendly.
The best kind of book. Okay.
No, that reminds me of some sort of simple facts with relationships. If you have a client who is so desperately, maybe is a too strong a word, but is actively pursuing their next relationship, let's say, and they're getting nowhere, the minute they stop pursuing the relationship, actually start to concentrate on themselves, i.e. love themselves, maintain themselves, self-care, that's when all of a sudden, a relationship will happen. You do have to love yourself. You do have to look after yourself, don't you? We give off different vibes then. We make ourselves attractive.
Sure. When you're happy, you attract happy people. You feel lighthearted. You feel great. You feel wonderful.
I always say you can hide sadness, but you can't hide happiness.
I don't know. I'm not good at hiding sadness. It's on my face, and it's on many people's face. They're wearing it. So it's a lot of energy to be in that place. There's a lot of different wonderful tools and ways of releasing that. And, of course, I'm a huge advocate of hypnosis.
Aren't we all? Okay, Brenda, so we are near the end of the show now. Do you have any words of wisdom for our viewers and listeners? Anything at all you'd like to leave them with? A final thought, perhaps? Or...
Yeah, live the life you deserve.
Just a caveat to that, though. Some people are so deep in this hole that they don't think they deserve.
Well, this is true. And so for those people, just know enough that you are enough to get help. Ask for help. Go outside. Find somebody to help, because it's really about the stories we're telling ourselves. And if we're telling ourselves the story that, yes, I can get through this and I can find someone to help us, whether it's a therapist or a hypnotherapist, you will create that. You will have those tools come to you. So I think for me, on my aspect, because I've come from that place, I've had some really dark days with the ex, and, a place of not knowing where to turn.
Are there tips in your book on how to find that help?
Yes. There are. Yes. So, we still hold that strength, even though we may not believe it. There is strength within us. And to, find those paths that are going to work. And if one way isn't working, search for more, because, ultimately, whether you believe it or not, you are worth it, because you're here and there's a purpose. You have a purpose. And sometimes that may be just to smile at somebody, and it changes somebody's day.
Oh, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that statement.
All three of us will have our contact information in the information. So
we will do.
You
Brenda,
can-
it's been lovely having you back again and having you back on again. Thank you so much for coming back on.
Yeah. And I love the
Enjoy
purple
Ireland.
behind you.
Thanks.
We hope you've enjoyed listening. Please remember, this podcast is designed to give you an insight into therapeutic hypnosis and is for educational purposes only. So remember, consult with your own healthcare professional if you think something you've heard may apply to you or a loved one.
Feel free to contact either of us through the links in the show notes. Join us again next week.